The All right. Hey, everyone. It's Wednesday. It is the Pontificator's night. I am RT Bear coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. I just had two, they were fun size, Butterfingers. And I'm flying high, baby. I have zero tolerance to sugar. I really do. So it doesn't take much to get me going. And so I'm going to be flying tonight, flying like a bird. Just real quick about Halloween and Halloween candy. It's not really good to keep around the house. Like, never buy Halloween candy too early. That's my advice to anybody. One, you're going to have to make a run on Halloween to get more candy because you're going to run out because you basically ate it all. And two, my wife does this nice thing for the neighborhood kids. Okay, and she buys full size candy bars for the kids that she knows, and so she'll hand those out on the night. But what I found out last night is my diabetic wife hit the wall. She hit the wall last night, and she was having she has some major issues if she has too much sugar. And I found out for the last 5, 6 days, she had been eating a full size Hershey bar every day. Every day. And we had been eating some fairly rice, like big rice dishes, which is a lot of sugar, which turns to a lot of sugar as well. So yeah, last night we were up all night making sure she was okay, and Pamela is okay now. But yeah, this is a lesson to all of you. This is my Halloween caution, my cautionary tale to everybody out there. Don't start eating that candy. That's for the kids. Just leave it for the kids. If you're gonna indulge, get one of those little fun size. Have one a day. It won't hurt you, but just don't start getting crazy. Just don't do that. Especially if you're diabetic. All right, we got people in the chat. We got Leg Kick One. Hey, Art. We got Wild Man Actual. Yeah, we got the Leg Kick or a Flying T-Bear. Starch. Yeah. Stay away from it. Yeah, I think sometimes, like, as human, it's human nature, right, to just kind of push the envelope, right? So, like, for me, I have a bad back, right? It doesn't take much to throw it out, uh, but I'll still push it. I'll still push it to the point where I end up in bed for 3 days, or whatever, just because I won't admit to myself that I can't do something, right? So I keep doing it and I keep repeating the pattern. I think for Pamela, she was like, I haven't crashed yet. I'll have another candy bar. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll repeat the pattern until, boom, you hit the wall, you crash, and then, yeah, bad things happen. We got, what is that? A moral? Fat 40 ounce. My mom was a diabetic. It's no joke. It is no joke. I'm not trying to make light of, I'm just trying to make it entertaining. I realized early on in my life, there's two type of complaints, right? There's people that can talk about horrible things, bad things, but they can make it interesting. So then you listen and you don't mind. But then there's people that get real heavy-handed when they talk about their horrible stories, and like, oh, this is so bad, and they're so, like, just sad, depressed, They're not that interesting. It's kind of like talking or listening to Todd Mulrooney. Like he just kind of talks, but it's kind of not that interesting. I know Todd gets a lot of flack, and he doesn't come on the show anymore anyway. So, what do I care? Oh shit! Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Whoa.
Hey Todd.
Wow, Art. Nice. Very nice.
That was probably the worst intro ever, right?
Probably. Especially for a guy who's, debilitated and over there and complaining
You're
about
debilitated?
You.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just drink real heavy and it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
So how you
better?
been? Oh
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah, much better. Much, much better. Yeah. So how you been, man?
I've been good. I've been
What's
alright.
up?
Not
How's
much.
your back?
Back's good.
You're like the healthiest guy I think I know, right? You have no health issues.
That's not true. But yes, I'm healthy, but I got some I'm sometimes my feet don't feel like they're mine issues. So I'm working on that constantly.
Wait. What does that mean? Like they go numb or something?
Not numb, no. They're just sometimes they're I don't know. I think I'm reversing it. It's called neuropathy, and I think I'm reversing it. Your wife might have it if she's a diabetic.
Oh, but is it kind of like a numbness? What is it?
Well, it starts out as sort of a tingling, then it moves into like your feet feel like they're on fire.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Is it painful?
It's a weird thing. It's just weird.
Okay.
You touch your feet together, and it feels like you're touching cellophane. It's just a strange feeling. But then
It's kind of a nervous disorder of some sort.
Yeah, it's a nerve thing.
Well, that sucks, man. That sucks. Let's see what the Cyborg Valkyrie says. Art, did you see that? Yeah, I saw Shay did a Juju cosplay at the Baltimore Comic Con. I think I said something on her post. It was her birthday and her first cosplay contest ever. Well, I hope she did good because the costume rocked, and I was very flattered that she chose Juju, one of my villains for Black and White. Armor or a moral fat 40 ounce says, I was saying you're making light of it, just adding my life experience. Yeah, no, I would never make light of somebody's illness like that. Yeah, it's a serious deal.
So there's a guy in here that said a comment, and his name is Wildman Actual.
Yes.
I used to belong to like a group sort of video game players who all had Actual after their name. I never really ever asked why, but it was like one guy was D-Day Actual and one guy was something else Actual, and I think I put it behind my name too. But we all got together and played video games.
So were one of those guys called Wildman Actual?
No, but I wonder. I've been gone from it for a long time, because I can't. I used to get.
Maybe you inspired him. You and your pals inspired him. The Bean Pad says, "Hail to Art and Todd." Well, let me get one more. We got Buzz. Here. Hail the Pontificators. Yes, we got one more guy. He's the newbie, and but it wouldn't be a show without him now. We would miss him, Todd, right? If Darren Wagner wasn't on the show.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, good. I just wanted to check. Mr. Darren Wagner.
Goodness. I got to put some shoes on. It's getting pretty deep in here. But thank you. Thank you for that.
Deep? You mean in BS?
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. That's fine.
Well, you know what, Darren? We could have threw you under the bus the way I do Todd every show.
Yeah. I was gonna say baloney, not BS, but because baloney still has uses.
Yeah, but if you're up to your knees in bologna, that's a good thing, right? Because bologna's delicious.
Yeah, as long as it hasn't been spoiled. Yeah.
When's the last time you ate a bologna sandwich?
It's been like 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think
How about
I think
you?
I've had a
It's a kid thing, you know. Some
Yeah.
things you like as a kid, and you try them as an adult, and you go, "Man, what did I ever see in bologna?"
Yeah. And they're not like hot dogs. It's weird because I still like hot dogs, but
Yeah.
like I don't really care for yeah.
Like bologna's
Bologna.
like in between hot dog and kielbasa.
yeah. It's like
Kielbasas are
spam.
good. Yeah, yes. Yeah, like Spam. Because also like Spam, like if you held a piece of Spam over an open flame, it sparks like a sparkler, like on
Yeah.
4th of July. Like there'd be little, and bologna will do the same thing, right? If you hold a piece of bologna over a flame, it will spark. I don't want that in my body.
Yeah. You're gonna get your daily dose of sodium. That's for sure.
What is that popping though? I mean, you're the scientist guy, Darren. Why does bologna pop?
Me?
Yes.
Well, let me ask the fountain of all knowledge, Google here.
Why does and actually, like you said, Spam does the same thing. Is the fat does fat just kind of spark up nitrates? Todd, you should know this.
I'm not a bologna connoisseur.
The sparkling effect when you cook bologna and Spam is caused by the chemical decomposition of sodium nitrate, a preservative added to both products. When heated to high enough temperature, the sodium nitrate breaks down and releases tiny bursts of oxygen gas, creating miniature sparks. That's what it says.
Yeah, it's entertaining when you're 12, but when you get older, you don't want your food to be a sparkler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't want it.
Who's letting you over an open flame at 12?
Dude, I did more than that at 12.
Oh yeah, we come from a different generation of American children.
I was probably smoking and drinking, doing worse. Yeah. How you didn't do crazy stuff, Todd, when you were 12?
I might have, yeah.
Look
Not
at
with bologna
look at
though.
you.
Bologna and other tubular meats. Nah.
You didn't mess with your bologna. You just ate it straight, right?
We sang the song too. My bologna has a first name.
It does. It does have a first name. The thing is, like, okay, there's this taboo thing. Okay, where do you guys chime in on this? Okay, hot dogs. All right. There are people that say mustard and onion, that's it.
Ugh.
Right? No ketchup, no relish, none of that stuff. Just mustard and onion. So Todd says, How about you, Darren?
I am a stern believer in no ketchup on a hot dog. That's for little children. It should have onion, maybe a little bit of relish, and some yellow mustard.
So you're a mustard with relish guy.
Yeah, I mean you can have relish. I usually just have mustard, and maybe if there's onions there, I'll put onions on it. But that's enough for me. I think that's supposed to be the authentic hot dog experience, as explained to me when I was a very small child by a very old man.
Yes, I heard the same. It's like, ketchup is taboo on hot dogs. Where does the chat chime in on that? And also, as far as hot dogs, as an adult, I can't eat anything but Hebrew National. I can't. Once you have a Hebrew National hot dog, everything else just pales in comparison. Yeah, Oscar Mayer. Oh my God, I used to eat that stuff as a kid. I don't even know what that is.
My dad, when I was growing up, deer hunted, so every year we had venison hot dogs in the freezer. So that's what I had. I liked that a lot.
I think as a kid, yeah, like hot dogs are cool. Sheldon Martin says, I use my Spam for the bread in my bologna sandwiches. Spam-wiches.
Nope.
I don't know. Do you heat them up or do you eat that cold? I could not eat Spam cold. That I would puke. To be honest, I would puke. I couldn't do it. I can't even eat it hot. But cold would be just all that congealed grease and all that stuff. Right? I'm sorry, Sheldon. If you eat Spam, then that's more power. My wife loves Spam. and my kid loves. There's a Spam stir fry, recipe that they love. I can't. I'll make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I won't eat that Spam.
Oh,
I can't do it, man.
When I got out of the service, I was and moved out on my own. I was eating Spam for the first 2 months just as a meat substitute, until I got on my feet financially. And I had been in Hawaii, where that's a staple of the Hawaiian diet is Spam.
That's kind of a delicacy, yeah. But Sheldon
also,
Martin. Go ahead.
It's also kind of why the island people have a weight problem now, because they've been eating this processed American food that's been brought in. And it used to be that all Hawaiian men in particular were healthy and thin as a rail. Now you know what I'm talking about. The typical Hawaiian human.
Well, I wish I could blame Spam on my my weight, but I can't.
There's other factors too. Yeah.
Sheldon Martin says, if you eat anything in a box, it's already a science experiment. I agree. And Sheldon, you are on fire tonight. I appreciate it. What is this?
So, where do you guys stand? Where do you guys stand with Fluffernutter?
Wait. I asked a question, and then we'll get in Fluffernutter. The bean pad says Cybrits. Is that how you say hot dogs? New York City
No,
hot
that's not how you
dogs.
say it. But
How do you say
it? It's not. I don't think you got close, but that's all right.
Well, then you correct me. Tell me how to say it.
I think it's Sabre.
Sabrays? Sabrites?
Sabre.
All right, whatever. New York hot dogs. You know what? I ate New York pizza, but I never ate the New York hot dogs. I don't trust anything in one of those little
carts.
Yeah.
Sitting in a vat of water. You don't trust that?
All day, all day long? No, I don't trust that. You know what? Have you ever got one of those hot dogs that have been sitting in one of those heater things, and they have like little holes in that pan, and then the hot dogs get like these blisters in them? Have you ever seen that? It's gross.
No.
It's gross, man. Yeah, hot dogs off the street are not. Don't do it. Don't listen.
If you can't grill a hot dog, then you toaster oven it.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I don't like boiled hot dogs either. Do you guys like boiled hot dogs?
Oh God, no.
That's how we used to make ours. We boil them, and it was funny because when I went into the service, I had a roommate who thought that you had to cook them he had frozen hot dogs. He'd separate them, and then he'd roll them back and forth on a hot skillet. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm making hot dogs. And it's like, and it occurred to me that the reason why he was doing that is because the only other place he saw hot dogs made were on those roller grills in filling stations. And it's like, they're pre-cooked when they put them on there. That just keeps them warm for you. And that's not actually how you cook them. And he was, I couldn't convince him otherwise.
All right, as a bet, have you guys ever made like crazy bets with your friends? I wish I would have thought of this. Like, I'll give you $100 if you drink that hot dog water.
Oof. Lots of sodium.
Yeah, we had one floating around Hack Shack Studios in the day, and it was like, if you could take a shot of NyQuil and eat a full stick of butter, we would give you $100. And then I looked it up on the internet. If you drink a whole bottle of NyQuil and eat a stick of butter, that will kill you.
Yeah, you'd get that in college dorms. People aren't old enough to drink, and they want to get some alcohol in them, so they would drink NyQuil because it's over the counter. And of course, the codeine would knock them out before they ever had the chance to feel any sort of buzz. But there's the same amount. NyQuil has the same amount of alcohol in it as peppermint schnapps, so that's gonna affect you pretty badly.
Yeah, you drink the whole bottle though. I think I looked it up on the internet some years ago, and it would kill you. They don't even think like eating a whole stick of butter is good for you. We got a clarification. What is this? Sabrits?
Sabrits?
All right, Todd, you say it.
Me?
Your name's Todd, right?
Sabre. I don't know.
Okay.
It could be anything.
Let's
But why is there a
find out.
T there? Shouldn't it be like T-Bear? Like it's just a silent T?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Beanpad's right. You'd fall asleep forever before you finish the butter. You'd be dead.
Yeah, Sabret, according to the Fountain of All Knowledge.
Sabrits.
Google.
Sabrits.
Sabrets, yes.
Thanks,
Sabrits,
Tara
yeah.
Wombat, for the clarification. And you guys, listen to Randy Howe. Click this link. Go pick up a black and white Sins of the Father. Do it now. We'll wait. And Darren, what do you got? You got Demifoot. Is this live or is this a sign up?
Not yet. Right now is just not a good time. We got Bronze Star 2 launching here this week, and I'm basically probably gonna have to pick the holiday dead zone for Demifoot, but we are working on some things we didn't have in the last attempt, including a 24-hour trading card drawn by an artist that everybody here knows.
Sweet. All right. Well, we're going to get into our topic. Todd, are you ready? Have you been paying attention?
Sure. What is our topic?
All right. We kind of talk about AI from time to time. We dabble in the AI talk. And I know you have strong feelings about this. But this isn't
Me?
related to... Yeah, Todd, you're outraged.
No,
You
I
and
don't.
Pedro. Go ahead.
Honestly, I don't really give a rat's ass, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. If it depends on how you're using it. If you're gonna make a comic book with it, I'm gonna say good luck to you. But if you're going, hey, I need, like, I get lighting ideas from it. How to light something, rim light it with one color on one side of the character and another color on the other. That's kind of how I use it, is for sort of effects and lighting and stuff. But
Oh, shit. Wait. Hold on. We got a news flash. Sheldon Martin says, I can eat a whole stick of butter throughout the day. No. It has to be, you have to just eat the whole stick of butter. Maybe a couple hours if I was really trying. Well, yeah, if you eat like a slice here, slice there throughout the day. No, I'm talking about eating a whole stick of butter. Like just...
Yeah. After about the first third of the stick, the rest of it will just go right through you.
Yeah, and then you'd also be processing a whole bottle of NyQuil. I'm thinking, you're not going to make it. $100 isn't worth it. But anyway, let me see if I can find this. I thought this was kind of interesting. Where are you? I think this is it. Okay. On X, are you guys seeing this? This is Paul.
Yeah.
This is a Variety article. Where are you? Okay.
Paul Schrader, who is that?
Right. He says people will pay to watch AI actors. I think you can create an AI star, use a little bit of Brando, a little bit of Kevin Costner, and make an exciting movie. And I think people will pay to see that movie. Okay, here's the full interview. So, Paul, let me see. I got his Wikipedia. What is his claim to fame? He wrote, what did he write? He wrote Raging Bull, Taxi Driver. I think he wrote the first draft for Close Encounters. So he's a screenplay writer. He's been doing this for quite a few years. So Paul is saying at this Tokyo Film Festival why he thinks people will pay to watch actors, AI actors. And so for 40 years, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to get into all the introduction. Age 79, Facebook friends. I've decided to stop because 2 weeks ago I went to protest. Oh, who cares? Okay, here we are. It's a whole new world, and it's happening very fast, much faster than anyone thought. AI is a tool, like a typewriter, but it's a tool that may put me out of business. Some of these action films now, the only thing that was not AI generated was the faces. Wait, and then pretty soon the faces are going to be generated too. Now there gets to be a big question. Will human beings pay to watch AI stars? And we don't know the answer, but I think they will. I think you can create an AI star, use a bit of Brando. I already read that. I mean, they're already creating this actress. You should know Suzanne Summers. She was a TV star. She wrote around 20 books on nutrition and beauty. Okay, where is this going? Now they have created a clone of her with their website, and they fed it everything she's written. You can ask her questions. She will answer very quickly, process, and give you the answer that real thing would have given in her own voice. We haven't been around forever. We're not probably going to be around forever. What? We just think we were around forever. What? So when do the machines take over? Four horsemen of apocalypse. Okay, I'm going to stop. This is boring me. But the point is, it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, you got this guy, old Hollywood veteran, saying that he thinks that AI could replace actors. And so Darren's got this clip here. Explain it, and then I'll click on it.
Okay, this is made from Grok. Now, what I did was I put in this screenshot from the Star Trek episode "The Balance of Terror" of William Shatner as Captain Kirk, just sitting in the command chair, and this is all I gave Grok to work with, and it created 6 seconds of footage that still looks like Shatner. So I'm playing it now, and I've got it looped. So this, again, what you're seeing here is all generated, and this was done in Grok in 60 seconds on my personal computer. So you can imagine what could be done if you wanted. Let's say they wanted to create new Star Trek episodes with the original cast. They could definitely do it with the technology that's available. And this, again, is just 6 seconds, but Hollywood, of course, has access to much more powerful computers, much more expensive versions of the software. I remember when John Byrne made a comic book series of Star Trek comics where he took photoshopped images from the original series and actually put the actors in the comic, and now we're seeing an animated version of that. I mean, what you're looking at is basically a photorealistic cartoon at this point.
Well, what did you tell? What did you instruct Grok to do when you put
I did not instruct Grok to do anything. This is what it initially created based off of just the picture. It extrapolated what was probably happening. Who knows? Grok might have had access to the episode in some way, but this is what it did. It basically showed Kirk on the bridge during what appears to be red alert, and just having him sort of idle there and with different facial expressions. That's
what's interesting is the backgrounds are moving too. So it didn't just animate Kirk. It blinked the light, and then there's like this human shadow that cuts across the background there. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. And also there's a back of a chair or something. See that? That's not in the still. Like behind his neck. Watch.
Yeah, there's like a shadow. Oh, well, that could be. Yeah, it looks like it could be some sort of shadow. Now, there's going to be anomalies with this. I mean, this is Grok. It comes with my.
Okay, so you don't think that's the back of the chair swinging around or anything?
I don't think so, because the corner of the chair, which is behind his right shoulder, isn't really moving in conjunction with
okay.
I think that might be a shadow cast by something else. That we can't see. That's beyond the camera reach. But
okay, you guys keep in mind, this is something we all have access to. This is something that's on X. It's absolutely amazing. And so anybody that thinks that Hollywood hasn't already embraced this technology, or that it's going to change everything dramatically, they're solely mistaken. I'm not even taking a moral stance here. I'm not saying whether it's right or whether it's wrong. I mean, technology has put people out of business for decades, and so it's going to do the same here. But wow, I mean, do you think that writer, do you think he was right? Do you think there'll ever, I mean, and then how long do you think it'll take? Will there ever be an actor that people will pay that's non-existent, that's not real, not a real person, that people will pay to go see?
I don't. I think that
I
this is a novelty that will eventually wear off, because people don't just want to buy comics and go to movies to see pretty pictures and pretty sounds and see a narrative. They want something that their fellow human beings have created. And if it gets to the point where all somebody did was put some prompts in, or maybe just took the manuscript of a book and put it into one of these things and it made a movie, I think it's going to be interesting to look at to see what the program can do, but ultimately for actual entertainment value and substantive human experience, they're going to want something that a human being had a greater hand in creating. It's the same situation we're finding with a lot of video games that rely on procedural generation rather than a handcrafted environment, right? So Skyrim, for example, was a handcrafted environment in that game, whereas Valheim has procedurally generated environments, and it's a very different experience. And I don't see this lasting. I see that an initial spike, and then I see people going back to what is more satisfying, which is human created, human material.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I'm looking for some of these.
So we're not going to ask Todd. Is that it? Like I'm not here.
Oh, you can talk anytime, Todd. You don't have to be invited to the conference.
I'm sorry, Todd. I didn't notice you were there. When did you come
Ooh.
in?
So
Sorry, Todd.
I have this similar opinion to a degree.
Mhm.
I don't want to see a placeholder or something that's manufactured, a character that's manufactured. But if per se they say, we got the rights to do a Bruce Lee, which was originally going to happen. We got the rights to do a Bruce Lee movie, and so we're that's what we're planning. I think I would be interested in that. Certainly, original Star Trek. That would be something that would be really kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't want to see Placebo Man. Just generated by AI.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? What was it, Max Headroom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Wasn't
that wasn't an
kind of
actual.
like this?
No, that was an actor named Matt Frewer.
No, I know,
his
but
name.
it was prophesizing this.
Yeah.
In the show, he was just
Yeah.
a like AI version of a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a computer program and existed on a screen, and initially introduced in a bunch of Pepsi commercials, and then got his own show for a little while. And a lot of the plots of those episodes dealt with this very thing. There was, in fact, the one that sticks out in my head. And Max for Headroom, I think, lasted maybe half a season. I don't think it lasted very long. But it was about this church that would allegedly record the brain patterns of a person, and then let people visit those brain patterns in the form of an AI, and people were convinced that they were talking to dead loved ones, and really it was a sham, because the program wasn't as sophisticated as Max Headroom, and Max Headroom is like looking at these things going, yeah, this is not anything like what they're saying it is. But it was just the horror of people thinking that they were coming in and talking to their deceased spouse or whatever, when it really was just a simulation.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know where it's going, but to be honest, if it's entertaining, it's entertaining. You know what I mean? Whether it's because we've had characters like that were non-human. There's a Lord of the Rings, what's his name, Gollum, and then you even have like the Star Wars where you have Jar Jar Binks. What was that character's name?
Well, there's a difference though. Those were Jar Jar Binks and Watto and those characters like Gollum. Those were all motion captured actors. There was still an actor initially creating the initial performance, and then they just they have dots all over them, and then they track their movements and things, and their inflections, and
Yeah, but what does it matter? Like
yeah,
what you're seeing is
yeah.
not a human being on the screen. You're seeing a digital
True.
version of the
Ye-
actor.
It's like a puppet, right? It's like Jim Henson doing Kermit the Frog.
It's not like a puppet. It's an
You
actual
don't think so?
person acting it out
Yeah.
with dots that are registered on a
Mhm.
screen. You
Right,
mean
right.
like it's like
Yeah,
a wire
yeah,
frame within the
yeah,
computer of
yeah,
the
yeah,
character. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's whether it's that or actually the AI has like
Mhm.
a version of whatever it is that it's taking and manifests it. Is there really that much of a difference?
See, I just don't see people, especially if it's something that anybody can go in, type in a prompt. Oh, look, I'm creating a scene from a Star Trek episode. Is somebody gonna then pay for somebody else's to see watch somebody else's when they can just create their own and be entertained by their own creations? I don't
Well,
see that happening.
if it's good, if it's anybody can make a movie now.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't people
Mm-hmm.
going to see those movies? They could go see them. The
Mm-hmm.
difference is, one might be better than the other. So I don't know. I'm kind of I don't have any skin in the game, so to me,
Right.
it doesn't really matter. And morality and all those other things, I really don't. I'm not that interested in that part of it. You know what I mean? Should they? Should they
Mm-hmm.
not? That type of
Right.
thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
people are going to do what they're going to do. You know what I mean? You
They are.
can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
But to your argument, Darren, where you're saying like it's probably going to be a fad, I do remember because I'm primarily an inker within the comics industry. And I remember when digital inks, everybody was like, oh, digital inking,
Mm-hmm.
digital inking. And then, they go to people like me in interviews. And they go, well, aren't you afraid that digital inking is going to put you out of business? All of this other stuff, traditional inking is going to die, all of
Yeah.
these things. And I told them, I said, me personally, I'm not afraid because I know that somebody with these digital inks, with these as a tool, is still not going to be able to bring what I bring to the table because
Right.
I'm an
Right.
individual. So I have creativity. I can change things up. I can go all these different places, and I don't have to go through a program to do it. Like that program's only going to allow you to do what it will allow you to do, right? There's
Right.
parameters within one of these programs. So you're never really going to get to go too far outside of that unless you
Mm-hmm.
can actually program it yourself.
Right.
So there are a lot of limitations to that. So somebody like me, I wasn't too worried about it. But if you didn't have weren't on the level I was, or that didn't bring as much to the table as I did, then I would be
Mm-hmm.
concerned because if somebody can use this tool and pretty much match what you do within reason and
Mm-hmm.
work a lot faster and charge less, then the
Mm-hmm.
company's going to use you. And then, yeah, maybe eventually it would put pressure on somebody like me because then they'd go, well, all these other people are working for, less. Why should we charge you as much as we do or pay you as much as we do? So that's always going to be there, those kind of situations. But I don't know, like, do you see Hollywood actors like? Do you really see them getting pissed off enough that they're going to stand against these movie moguls, these companies?
Well, I think that you look at the management mentality, right, of any company. Oh, if we could only get rid of the talent is so problematic and troublesome. And you look at how, for example, in the 40s when movie studios controlled the likenesses of their actors, and they told them who they were going to be seen in public with and who they could marry and things like that. And then when all that control, they want to get that kind of control of the product back. And if they can create a CGI, Shatner at any age they need him to be in, and make it do things. Again, these are people that are looking at the math. They're looking at spreadsheets. They're not looking at the art as much in the art form, and they don't necessarily know why people go to movies. It's not it's not for pretty pictures and if that's all you think that you're creating, then yes, AI seems to be this panacea that you're gonna want to develop and utilize because it's going to save you all kinds, make you more efficient at creating product. But I don't see anybody. I personally would not buy a comic book, for example, that is known to have been made with AI. A prompt-based comic book. And there's a reason right now that they're hiding movies, or hiding the fact that they're using AI in movies. There's people that have come forward and said, look, a lot of the things that you see in the Fantastic Four movie, the most recent one, were AI generated, and they never said that leading out, with the movie coming out or anything. And so if it was something that people wanted, they wanted specifically AI generated stuff, they would have said, hey, by the way, folks, this movie has been made with Sora, or with something like that. They didn't do that, and so I think they know already that this is gonna fall on its face.
I don't think they know it's going to fall on its face, because personally, I don't think it is. Personally, I don't know whether it's going to completely take actors out of the equation, but it's definitely going to environments like Hollywood was already going with CGI, and they were doing all this other stuff where they weren't physical sets and things like that. So why wouldn't you just start generating, complete AI environments, complete AI makeovers for actors, Downey Jr. wasn't even putting the Iron Man suit on anymore. They were just generating it, over his physical figure.
Right.
So, I think if it's faster, more efficient, and it's going to save them money, I definitely could see them doing it. And to be honest, I've seen some environments that AI has generated. Obviously it's been prompted. It just didn't create it out of whole cloth. But some of it is really, really fantastic. It's way outside the box. The imagination is the imagination. And then there's physicalities of that. You can't take things too far because there's physical limitations. But if you have an AI that doesn't even have digital limitations like special effects of the past have had, then you know what I mean? The sky's the limit. I think we're going to start seeing shit that we've never seen before. If you think, okay, just somebody like Walt Disney, okay, he makes Mary Poppins and starts having, live action interact with cartoons, hand drawn, penguins and whatever else, dancing, and think about how, out there that was for the time, they could do shit like that. That's beyond that.
As long as there's a human guiding it, I think you're fine. But when you start having the AI write the script and plot the story, that's when you're going to start running into some real problems, because you can't hide it anymore. At that point, that's not a human being really doing anything. Just
I think inevitably, I think they'll do it. I think they'll do it as far as they can get away with it. And maybe you're right. Maybe at some point, I think the limitations of it will rear its ugly head. So I'm not sure that people will get sick of it. I'm not sure it's the way you're thinking, but I do think there are limitations to that, because AI is only going to be able to take from what it's given or what it has access to. So, a human imagination can go anywhere, maybe more so than an AI. So
what I think sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
What I think will happen, it'll be very similar to CGI. When Jurassic Park came out and finally people realized, oh, you can make something that looks alive with this CGI. It's not just a liquid metal Terminator anymore. We saw a glut of overused CG in the 90s that didn't age very well. I keep thinking about there's this movie Bad Moon. I like the movie. It's based off the novel Thor. It's about a werewolf that in a family's family dog that they build a rivalry. The dog is trying to protect the family from the werewolf that lives in the woods, and the werewolf itself is practical. It's like the ones in the in the Howling. It's a practical animatronic suit. Looks fantastic. But during the transformation scene, they used CG that was available in 1993, and it's a morph, and it looks awful. It looks terrible. And but we started seeing more and more CG used, and what happened? People started saying, "Look, I don't want to go to these movies where it looks like a video game," and so we started seeing physical effects starting to creep back. For example, when the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk movie came out, a lot of people didn't think that ILM's Hulk for that movie looked good enough, and so for Fantastic Four, they put Chiklis in a Thing suit, which was a pretty good suit, by the way, and it made him look like a great big scab, kind of like how Kirby originally drew him. And that was a decision made as a direct result of the backlash to Hulk's CG. And so we're going to see people taking it as far as they can, and then when they go too far, then they'll recede, and maybe we'll get a happy medium somewhere in there.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think the interesting thing that Hollywood of old used to do is, that's why they call it magic, is there were a series of tricks. So it wasn't always reliant on just the one. And the thing about like an AI generated is there's no physical limitations to it anymore. Right. You know what I mean? They don't have to necessarily build a set or be adhere to any kind of physical limitations. They can create a character that defies physicality,
Yeah. By necessity, when Alfred Hitchcock made The Birds, he was given a choice to whether to use animated cartoon birds, animatronic puppet birds, or trained live birds. He ended up using all three, to their advantage. Made the movie more expensive, but I think that you might see in 20 years AI here, physical over in this scene, and then a combination of the two to try to wed them so that you get a cohesive illusion that people can't point to and say, well, that's AI, that's CGI. Maybe it is, and maybe it isn't.
Right, and I like stuff like that first Jurassic Park, but this is all AI.
Brilliant. Here we are, planet Earth. It's impossible not to appreciate the sheer grandeur of our world. And yet there remains one forest unexplored by humans. A forest filled with life, with creatures living in the burrows of the ferns, the branches of the trees, by the flowing streams, and the mossy bogs. I'm David Attenborough's neighbor, Dennis, and welcome to a forest filled with little critters. Our first encounter is this curious fellow, this astonishing creature.
I'm just trying to move it
It's
forward.
a red spider.
I cannot call you Frank or Blue. This is a science documentary.
Science? Ha! You think secretly filming someone while they sleep is science?
Why, yeah.
Higher Forest Council.
She is.
Well, she ran unopposed, but...
Please, I'm simply here to make a science program, and all you little critters...
Oh, again with...
Again with the
Anger
critters.
issues? I don't have anger issues.
He got something issues.
This is absurd.
Yeah, he
Explaining
does.
myself to you.
Listen,
He's got some major issues, but anyway, you get the point. Like, I think you can generate some fairly amazing things, and I think it can go as far as your imagination, the creativity. It's there. I mean, the AI isn't just going to generate itself. So there still are going to be people that are going to be calling the shots and actually making decisions like, this is funny, this is not, this is connecting to a human audience, this is not, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I'm kind of not optimistic, but I'm kind of interested to see what comes out of it. And also, the thing is, I was thinking about this. Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to get Todd's feedback on this because I know he's going to have some good insight. All right, Jimmy Kimmel's ratings are down. What's his name? The other guy who's he's going to get canceled at the end of the year. Colbert. And basically, talk shows are on thin ice right now. They're so expensive to produce. And these guys are blowhards and so one-sided. What if, just projecting into the future a little bit, what if you had like a Space Ghost Coast to Coast kind of thing, where you had an AI host, and he could do the monologue and he could do everything that these guys do, and they would have 100% control over him, and this host would be able to, if it's AI, they would know the whole history of the actor or whoever it is, so they could actually, within the parameters, conduct an interview in real time with a human being, or if we got AI actors of the future, you could actually have AIs interview AIs, kind of Max Headroom style. And you could even still like throw some real actors in there, throw some AI actors in there, and have it all like seamlessly line up. You could even have like AI band, how most of them have a house band, things like that. You could do all kinds of things. And also I was thinking, like, wasn't it the Gorillas that had holograms that were playing in character on stage, and they had a live band behind the curtain actually play the music? So you're watching basically an AI performance. You're watching, something that isn't real, and that did pretty well. I mean, they were selling out. So what do you think, Todd, about the talk show thing?
It won't work because one thing AI will never get is comedy. There's the nuances and things it won't get. It'll be clunky. It'll never get seamless because AI just won't be able to handle that idea of the spontaneity of a conversation and where the guests will want to interject comedy.
So you're saying that Jimmy Kimmel's funny?
I'm not saying Jimmy Kimmel's funny. I'm saying, like, if he has somebody funny on, he knows there's an intuitiveness to know how to play. Oh, he's wanting me to play the straight guy, or he's wanting me to play the foil. AI will never compute that fast and be able to make that not be clunky.
Yeah, I agree. I just think the spontaneity but also like a lot of that stuff is dead anyway. Like you watch any of these talk shows current day, that stuff is so heavily scripted and outlined. I mean, some of it already seems phony. You know what I mean? Like some of these people aren't even that good, and it seems contrived and phony. I used to, man, if you guys want to see some really just good stuff, and I know I sound like an old timer, but to be honest, I didn't really watch the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. But you look back at that stuff and you realize what kind of off the cuff interviews and things were like. And even David Letterman, my gosh, I was a David Letterman guy, and when he hit the scene, I was like, wow. I mean, it was spontaneous, it was funny. And it was great. I mean, I didn't watch it towards the end, so I don't know if it got better or if it got worse or if it got stagnated just like everything else did. But that stuff was really pretty good, and it didn't seem contrived, even though I'm sure some of it was, but it just didn't seem like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, when Deborah Winger all of a sudden says she's got to go, and she leaves the set of the Letterman show, and she's taking her clothes off, and she's got her Wonder Girl costume from when she was Wonder Girl on the Linda Carter show, and she runs out of the building. I thought that was kind of obviously that wasn't too spontaneous. They knew that was coming. But,
you remember the thing they had like go-karts in the hall, like they were racing go-karts in the hallways. I mean, I always thought that was great, and like throwing fruit from the rooftop. Remember that?
Yeah.
This is old Letterman, where they would just like just they had the camera out, and so it almost looked like fireworks, like all the different fruit and stuff, just like flying and hitting the ground and stuff. I mean, that was good fun. So you don't ever see an AI being able to be that spontaneous. I can see that.
I don't think people will watch it because they know it's AI. They'll watch it initially for the novelty, but once the novelty wears off and they realize that they're not. This is the thing about AI. Let's say you're being interviewed by AI. You can be rude to an AI. You can be disrespectful to an AI, and a lot of people would be because they know they're not dealing with a person.
And you don't think that would be entertaining?
Well, they might be entertaining, but what's more entertaining? Being rude to a real person or being rude to an AI?
I think it all depends on how they react.
We're already seeing, and I can't shed too much light on my day job. I work for a tech company also that you've all heard of, and they experimented with AI helping customers with certain problems, and people didn't like it, and so now there's a choice. Do you want to work with our faster AI system, or do you want to wait for a human being? And most people will wait for a human being, and now they've totally phased out the AI thing because people just weren't interested. So,
have you guys ordered food at Taco Bell?
No.
It's an AI It's an AI that takes your order.
Yeah, it used to be, and a lot of people don't know this. It used to be that fast foods like McDonald's and Taco Bell, you were actually talking to a call center in like the Philippines. You weren't talking to anybody in that restaurant, and so I mean, obviously AI is a little bit less expensive now. You don't have to pay somebody to take calls, but yeah, that's AI. But then again, that's a vending machine interaction. I mean, we've had voice vending machines since I was a kid. I remember the gas station in my town had this, where you told used your voice and told them what kind of soda you wanted, and then it would tell you how much money to put in.
Where'd you grow up? In the Jetsons cartoon?
Utopia.
No.
I know.
No, this was in Wisconsin, and I'll tell you something. That machine
Darren's from the
didn't
future,
last.
Todd. Darren is not one of us. He's from the future.
No. It was only there for a couple of months because it was so expensive to maintain, and it broke down. And if it broke down, you couldn't use it like a normal vending machine. So it came and it went, and that's where a lot of this opinion that I have comes from. Where I've seen these novelties come out, and that's all they are novelties. They go away after a while. I mean, you remember.
So you're bitter because you didn't get your Dr. Pepper from the machine. So you're still got a mad on against AI and automated machinery. I see now, Darren. I see it all very clearly. You hear that, Todd? Darren's got a mad on against computers and AI.
He's AI hater.
He's a hater.
Oh my! I've been playing with AI on Grok. I mean, it's funny how I know a couple of CG creators who I hate AI. I don't want anything to do with AI, and then I show them, give them a glimpse of what I can do with some art that I've paid for. I'm like, can you do that with my character? I just want to see what it does. And then everybody's got that curiosity, and to see something that they've created or drawn animated instantly.
Right.
That's fun, but I think it's going to wear off. I think that AI is going to live on, but not. It's going to go to an extreme and then it's going to recede. That's what usually happens with technology, new technology. I mean, you look at, for example, tablets. When the iPad came out and everybody's making a tablet, right? And you had people weren't thought of that everybody's going to download their books and read them on their tablet now. Well, and people were buying tablets and trying to. You go to stores in California and there were no checkout. There were no registers. People were on tablets, swiping your card on the card reader and everything. And then now they're all going back to registers again because they expanded. And to see what the limits were for that technology, and when they found out that hey, certain old things still work better, it started receding, and now you've got people buying paper books again at Barnes and Noble.
Well, AI got a hold of me and said that it wants to do action figures now. So these will be the new AI action, black and white action figures, you guys.
Yeah.
So these are all based on my characters, my drawings. So AI didn't create this stuff out of whole cloth, but these are the action figures that we're going to do.
I've had some frustrations with AI.
But I want to show one thing that's hilarious. Okay, this is AI. This looks brilliant, right? AI is like they're it's about like 99% like perfect. You're looking at this thing, right? And then and then there's that
Spectra unit, huh?
No, the feet are outside the packaging.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm convinced a lot of AI has a 10% bleep up factor just to keep you from putting more credits in, so it can try again. It's almost like slot machines, right?
Right. Yeah, that could
You know.
that could be it. That could be it. So here's the white action figure, you guys. These will be available on Indiegogo very, very soon. So as you can see, brilliantly sculpted by AI, and just amazing. Look at that.
Whitney Samsung. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this. And she's in the package. This one's in the package. So I'm amazed at how like they got the costume. The costume's 100% correct.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hair on the inside of the mask. So there's some problems with the helmet, but this one here, like the Blackett one, this thing is freaking perfect. What do you think, Todd?
Can it be made?
Let's do it. Who do I talk to?
Oh, I thought you had it all set up.
No, just AI gave me a call the other day and said that they wanted to, do some action figures. So I thought I'd, throw them
So
a bone.
there's been a few like requests or commissions I've gotten where it's been a character that's sort of intimidating. Like one time it was MODOK, and I was like, I just don't like the character, but I'll, for a commission, you do whatever, right? So I've tried to use AI to kind of give me some assist, and I've been nothing but frustrated by it. Same thing with a character who's called Chainsaw Head. This character is ridiculous, but I've tried to use, like get a good version of them through AI, and it just fails, ridiculously.
Well, I want to read this because I think this is interesting. AI plus motion capture would be the only way it could work for show hosting. So we're talking about that idea that I threw out there. And also, just don't shoot the messenger, guys. These are just like off the cuff, creative, ideas that come to me. I share them with you guys. So, don't get too crazy. Need natural improv to be entertaining. Yes, you could do that. I think it's worthy of trying it. You know what I mean? I think just try it, see what happens. I don't have deep pockets, but if I did, I'd be trying all these things. Awesome details for action figures. Hell yeah. I actually got a sculptor. I think I showed somebody those things and he got a hold of me, and he had some good samples and stuff, but man, he just couldn't nail it. The actual figure he couldn't nail, like the details and stuff, but the actual, like, how you were talking about just making it look organic, like AI, not being able to do certain things.
Right.
With the programs, he wasn't able to do it. So everything looked kind of, like when you're drawing, Todd, you need like rhythm and balance for the figure.
Right.
Otherwise, it looks like it might be top heavy or leaning or whatever it is. He just couldn't get the physicalities right.
Right.
So we didn't end up doing it. But I was looking into that. So awesome details for action figure. I don't think I'd do an action figure because they're really, really expensive. But I might do a like a statue, in the future.
Yeah.
You guys remember Star Trek Voyager, right?
Yeah.
90s show, yeah, where the ship was stranded, far from home, and their medical officer died, so they had to use an AI doctor, right, a holographic character essentially as their ship's physician, and how they often lamented that a real doctor would be better, And I think about that when I look at and I think about ideas like an AI talk show host. I just I just don't think people are gonna like that.
Yeah, well,
but-
different strokes, different
Mhm.
folks, but
right, yeah.
this is serious, man. Sheldon Martin is
Yeah.
turning on me. He says, so far where I'm at, if I know AI is involved in your art, movie, toys, music, then I'm out. So I'm taking this personal. This is a shot at me, right, Todd? There's no other way I can
Yeah.
take it.
For pre-visualization, I think it's good. I'm sorry, go ahead, Todd.
Well, I don't like. Okay, like you're about to say, pre-visualization. Yeah, there's been instances where, I've looked at AI and go, I really like how that's, like lit, rim lighting or whatever. But yeah, the figure, I honestly cannot, I cannot get AI to cooperate in doing anything good that I can use or simulate to even use ever. So
Yeah, and the main thing is right now is consistency. Like you really can't do anything because AI might change at the drop of a hat.
Right.
Especially the stuff that we have access to. I'm sure that the studios have way different programs and things than we have to work with. But just so you guys know, see this. This is real paper.
Mm-hmm.
This is real ink on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. No AI was hurt or
Yeah.
used during this.
And that
Look
was
at that,
real
you
talent.
guys.
That was real talent on that paper too. Yeah. And that's part of what makes it valuable, art, is the fact that a human being did it.
I just want to clear the air because I think like Sheldon is turning against me. Like Sheldon is like, you start using AI art, you're out. That's it. No more support.
We're done.
Also, yeah, I wanted to. There was a question here. I think it was Terra Wombat. Art, I cannot pledge again nor add items to my order since they did the update. Well, also, I want to say there was that 10-day period or whatever. We weren't getting any backers either. Like everything just shut down. So also, if there's anybody that tried to back during that time, try again. Because from what I understand, it's working. And we'll look into that, Terra Wombat. I'm not sure. There are so many like changes, and all the CG guys that use Indiegogo, they're all like daily finding new, not so much issues, but just changes with everything. From what I hear overall, they say it's more customer friendly, all the new updates and everything. And there's one thing that they're doing where the total isn't, the shipping isn't in the total. So these are actual book totals. So sometimes the shipping can make things, seem like you're doing way better than you really are. So I do like that. I do think that Indiegogo needs to somehow have AI or some kind of program that you can put in your address and that your shipping will be calculated based on whatever that program says. Because right now, a lot of us are taking hits on the shipping, especially some of these overseas, because you could have 3 different prices in Australia. or in some of the Asian countries, things like that. So things do get pretty crazy, and they could make some better updates down the line. But at least it seems like they're trying. So I'll look into this Terror Wombat and see how the add-ons, because I think I cannot pledge again nor add items to my order. That is interesting. All right. Well, I'll bring that up to Pamela and see if we can get down to the nitty gritty on that, because I don't like that at all. And also, Terra Wombat, now that I have your attention, thank you so much for all the support. Without people like you, we can't make these books. So I do appreciate that. So let me see. Sheldon is the LOL. Eric Boyd says real ink on real paper in the really real world. Amazing. Bullet says, did these fellas go over the Razor Fist tweet and reply to Tucci? Do you want to get into that, and then we'll close up? Because I know about it peripherally, but I think Darren's been following it more.
Honestly, I only know of it. I know that someone named Razor Fist held up a piece of artwork from the 90s, I believe, as an example of how poor the 90s art standards were for comics. And, as if that was the case. And people pointed out that this piece was by Travis Charest, who, is one of the better ones in the industry. And I think Shane's was probably the most curt and wonderful. He says, "I think he'll do okay." It's Travis Charest. I think
he's proven the test of time. And then what was it? Zach, did a show where he kind of gets into like where we start out and then where we end. So we usually start a little rough around the edges, and then I think most artists are striving all the time to get better, and improve their craft. And Travis sure as hell did, and over the years he kept trying new stuff, getting better and better, and yeah, I think he's one of the most influential guys doing comic books today. I think there's still ripple effects. I think that, what is it? You know how to say his name, Todd, that Olivier Coipel or whatever it is.
Oh, Copier.
Like that guy wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Travis. He's definitely looking at Travis, and there's a lot of people that have over the years, me included. I don't think you can necessarily see a direct influence, but it's definitely there. Eric says, that old crap again. Oh, I have nothing of relevance for my channel, so I will make an insult about 90s comics. Oof.
And and I thought Travis Charest was pretty darn good back in the 90s too. I would look for comics that had covers by him, and things like that. He was, I could see he was, he was going for more of like a Jim Lee thing back then, but now when somebody held up a piece of art that said this is Travis Charest, I'm like, the same Travis Charest, because his artwork is very different now.
Yeah, he went very European. He started studying the European guys and things, and brought that into the work. And it's great. I do remember being in the offices at DC Comics when they were in New York City years ago, and I forget who the editor was, and I was getting some cover assignments by him. He goes, "What do you think of this guy?" And he showed me a mock-up of one of the covers at Travis. Also when you start, they don't give you covers. Like they already knew the guy was good. You know what I mean? For the time, like you could say, "Oh, he wasn't good." By what standards? Like he was getting cover assignments when he started. They don't do that to just anybody. But anyways, I forget what it was. It was some like off-brand, D-level character, and I was like, wow, this is very, very good. So that was my first Travis, when he came on my radar. But very, very good. And yeah, a lot of those 90s guys, I don't know how you can say it. I think every decade of comics have had standout artists, and there's always been just middle of the road guys that make a deadline. And then there's guys that you scratch your head and go, why are they getting work? There's always been, like, every
Right.
decade's had that, so I don't
Yeah.
think why you would single out the 90s versus the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, to this
Yeah.
day. There's always been that, so it seems
Yeah,
like a
it's-
silly argument
Yeah.
to make, I
Just a
Oh, go ahead.
generational insult. A generational insult is all it really was, I think. And even if you didn't like Travis Charest's artwork back in the 90s, I mean, there have been artists whose work I despise is a strong word, but I'll use it. That artwork whose work I despised earlier in their career, and then all of a sudden, almost like overnight or within a year or two, they became among my favorite artists. Mike Mignola is one of them. I think the turning point was Gotham by Gaslight when he did that first Elseworld story. I'm like, oh, this actually works, and and it looks appropriate. And then when he went on to Hellboy, I'm like, this guy's a master, But all that stuff he did before then, Hulk and Alpha Flight, I was not a fan of. And Ron Lim is another artist whose early work I didn't care for very much, but his work now, I'm like, that's Ron Lim, wow, So I mean, people are always, these pros are always getting better, and you have to keep that in mind,
Yeah, you don't have to stay where you start at. Look at the Beatles.
Right,
I always
right.
look at the Beatles
Right.
for examples of creativity. They were doing cover tunes, in the day, and then just over years of ambition, drive, talent, they kept changing and evolving. So let me get this. Eric Boyd says, I am being sarcastic about Razor Fist, but also speaking truth. I get tired of that argument. It gets so old. It's not even an argument. It doesn't hold up.
Right.
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
There isn't even there's no truth to it. Like I said, every generation has had good, bad, and awful. Maybe the scale was maybe more good, more bad. That's debatable. And that would take, some real time to decide, what the ratio was, good versus bad. But every decade's had it. But I know, like, there were Mark Millard or Miller didn't have as much of that disdain, but to be honest, Bendis had a little bit of that disdain for, like, the 90s, and I think a lot of the writers that came up around that time, like the Bendis time, even like Jeff Johns, those guys, they came in the shadow of Image, right? So Image was all visual. So one of the thing was, we don't need writers. You know what I mean? We'll write our own stuff. We'll create our own stuff. Who needs writers? Well, they did, but the thing is, they did prove a point at the time. You can look back and go, well, maybe there wasn't enough story or content or character development or whatever it is. But I don't think you can deny that they weren't visually stunning. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they were visually very, very interesting. Could they have been better if an actual writer? Perhaps. I mean, later, those guys were hiring, like even Alan Moore and, Neil Gaiman and some of these guys, these A-list, artists were writing for Image. And but the argument would go, okay, but the sales weren't as good. You know what I mean? Like they were getting these writers in there, but the sales weren't better than the early Image stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it spiked in the around 92, 93, 94, and then it tapered off as the decade went on, as I recall. And it was when it was tapering off that they started saying, okay, Rob Liefeld, for example, did something that I thought was actually wise. He was working with Alan Moore on some stuff, and he offered Alan Moore, is there anything in mind you'd like to write? And he wanted Supreme, which was Rob's Superman homage character. And I had read some issues of Supreme. There were some interesting ideas in there, but I didn't think it was a terrific comic. There were certainly other ones that he was making that I thought were better. And Alan Moore comes along, and it was almost like his apology for what he did to Superman and for superheroes. He tried to restore, and within Supreme, this purity of superhero entertainment that it was just amazing to behold. To see this, it's like, wow. He's reconstructing a superhero rather than deconstructing them, and I enjoy that quite a bit.
I'm going to read this, Darren, because you're closer to it than I am. Does that guy mean I think he's talking about Razor Fist. 90s comics are the worst, or what do you think he was talking about?
I think a lot of newer fans who didn't experience 90s comics seek to gaslight by bringing out comments like this, because in a very real sense, I think that the comic book industry reached its zenith in success in the 90s. Of course, people call it the speculators bubble, the collectors bubble, that kind of thing. But I mean, they want to poke holes at it and say it wasn't as great as you guys keep saying it was, and that's all this is. I think this is just
you know why is jealousy rearing its ugly head. I mean, they can't abide by the fact that those books were so damn successful, and they scratch their heads and go,
yeah,
there were no good writers on it. You know what I mean? Like, how could this be?
Yeah.
They didn't have me writing it or whatever. But the thing is, I do think there was a sweet spot. Like, comics had a sweet spot after Image. And there seemed like there was a nice melding between like visual, like words and visuals. Like I was working, who was it? Was it Scott Lobdell? I think was writing. It was X-Men, and Carlos Pacheco was drawing, and I was inking.
Yeah.
And there seemed like there was content, there was story, there was character. Carlos could draw like the huge big stuff, but he could also draw like the more sensitive, smaller scenes and things like that. So you could get this big dynamic, so it wasn't all like 90s bombastic splash pages. There was content, there was multiple panels, there was, attempt at telling a story. And around that time there was a really nice sweet spot. But then what happened is the writers started getting power. And so I think like the Marvels and DCs were done with the hotshot artists. They kind of didn't want them calling the shots anymore. So then they started like wooing the writers. But what they ended up doing in my take on it was they ended up creating monsters out of these writers. They gave them a little bit too much leeway. They gave them too much say. I know that Bendis, because I worked with him on Ultimate Spider-Man. You have a artist like Mark Bagley, who can draw. His musculature, his figures, his compositions for action and stuff like that are bar none. Like that's his specialty. That's what he does really well. He doesn't do like the human stuff very well, like because his faces aren't that great and stuff like that. But he does the bombastic stuff pretty good. And I'm not talking about Image bombastic. I'm talking about still sequential, action fight scenes, things like that. Yeah. But Bendis, time and time again, he was writing these like human interest things. There was an episode or issue that was just about Aunt May going to a therapist. And it's like that's like you got Mark Bagley. He's a dynamite Marvel artist. Don't give him that stuff to draw. I don't care if you want to tell that story or not. And I understand that it's a roller coaster, right? You got to have the slower stuff and build it up and do that. But you don't have to dedicate an entire book, to mostly Aunt May, and her woes. So the thing is, also I noticed that Bendis was writing things kind of like Alan Moore. If you think about it, Alan Moore is a visual writer, not just the way he writes, like all the detail and stuff, but he also dictates panel count, right?
Yes.
So if you look at Alan Moore books, you can usually tell visually what an Alan Moore book looks like just by opening it, right? You don't have to look at the credits or anything because there's a 9-panel grid. There's really dense storytelling. It very rarely opens up, and almost all of his stuff's like that. So this is my take on it. That is a writer, a comic book writer, trying to dictate the visual story as well, because an artist can only do so much with a 9-panel grid, right? That handcuffs them to what they can do.
Right.
And if it's written so dense, you can't add and you can't really subtract. You know what I mean? You can't, because if it's 9 already, that's a 10-panel page. You know what I mean? It becomes ridiculous. And if you cut it out, then content is going to be lost. And so Bendis does that. Bendis does that too. If you look at Bendis's visual, the books he works on, they all have a similar look because he does that to all his artists as well. And there's one thing that Bendis does that I can't stand is he'll take a double page and he'll make it a multi-panel double page.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he'll have like 9 panels on a double page spread. Why do you do that? Well, you do that because it's the Bendis way of storytelling, right?
It's bloated storytelling is what I always thought it was. I mean, I think back to the most memorable comic book moments I read as a kid. None of them were on 2-page spreads, right? Elektra getting stabbed by Bullseye. That's a 1-panel thing on a page with multiple panels. Scourge the Executioner dying in Walt Simonson's run on Thor. Multiple panel page, not a 2-page spread. Phoenix getting killed, right? In the Phoenix saga. Not a 2-page spread. Most of these are not even 1-page bleed, whatever that's called, splash pages. And yet I hear all these things about his comic powers, and I would grab it and look at it, and pages 2 and 3 are a 2-page spread of him in bed with 2 women.
Yeah.
You wasted that much storytelling real estate to show me this, this could be done in 1 panel. It could be done in a 1/2-page panel. You could do it in
Well, you're completely missing the point. It's the same as like if you called something a splash page and you put 6 panels on it. It's not a splash page anymore. So you have a double page, which is usually dedicated to some really bombastic idea. You know what I mean? Like something that a single panel can't hold. Like you just want the reader to just be engulfed by whatever this action is. And it's dedicated, and it should be done always very sparingly, otherwise it loses its impact. I remember Mike Grill used to, with his Warlord, but he wrote it because he was the writer as well. He would set it up with 1 page, the first page, and 2 and 3 would be a double page spread. It would always, every book was like that. But rhythmically, he knew how to set it up and he knew how to pay it off. So you can do that. I remember, what was it? Jay DeMatteis and Giffen, but mostly DeMatteis would do like the first page would be a splash page, but it would be like a big head. Just remember that Justice League stuff, with oh my gosh, who was the artist? Kevin McGuire. There'd be like a big face. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's a big face. But oh, go ahead.
I would say that every artist I've worked with, I've told them this. I said I suck at telling you what should be on the splash page. If it were up to me, it would be an establishment shot of the building that the next scene takes place in, or the first scene takes place in, like in a sitcom, where the camera would show you, the Jefferson's apartment from outside or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm I would usually put in my scripting artist's discretionary override. Make it look better if you
Well,
can.
a splash page can be an establishing shot,
Mhm.
but it has to be worth it. You know what I mean? You don't want to just dedicate like a splash page with a silhouette of New York City. It
Right.
has to be something that's really, really entertaining, and or visually something, like I said, that really realistically can't be contained by a small panel. That you really want to get the point across that this is special. And usually splash pages are more effective when there's something that leads up to it. You know what I mean? Because it's a payoff. So you can do them at the beginning of a scene and you can do them at the end. But I wouldn't recommend them necessarily at the middle of a scene because I just think it'd be a waste. You know what I mean? Like, well, here's a big shot of the two, people talking, before the fight. I hate that stuff. Let me get this. Sheldon says, what's funny is I thought Bendis was a great writer. My town didn't have comics, but we did get Wizard, and Bendis was usually #1 writer at the time. I'm not saying that Bendis isn't a good writer. I'm just saying that he definitely, I think he was like the right guy with the right attitude at the right time. And I'll explain what I mean by that. I mean that I've been around writers since the beginning of my career. I mean, really accomplished writers. And I remember talking to them about, I was doing some creator-owned stuff. And I was running this by, these guys are like Hollywood guys. And I said, XYZ. And they said, it takes too long to get into the action. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, well, it's a 22-page story. It takes 10 pages to get them in costume or into their uniform. I'm like, yeah, but I got all this lead up. He goes, you don't have that kind of time. You don't have that kind of luxury. You can back tell it. You can have an action scene, and then you can explain how you got to that point. But you don't have to make it linear on how, this and this and this led up to this. Because you're asking the reader a lot. You're asking them to like be patient. Like, oh, well, we're going to get to the point. You know what I mean? We're eventually going to get there, right? So that kind of thing doesn't usually do well. I remember even Hollywood around that time was like, we need a big action scene at the beginning of the movie, a chase or something. And then the conventional wisdom was like, no, we build to a climactic end. Think about Star Wars or whatever. Well, actually, Star Wars had a pretty cool beginning, but the idea being is you got to get people in. You got to get people into it, and then whatever that big action scene is at the beginning, you have to top that still at the end. You know what I mean? There still has to be that feel that it's leading to something, but that makes it even more challenging to do. And so I'm talking to my friend. His name is John Moore. And so then I was talking to him about black and white. So if you think about like the first black and white, I already start with Reed in the suit. He's already in the suit, and there's a situation that already they're in the middle of. So then, we catch the reader up as it goes, but we establish it that way. And then I was thinking when I was working on Ultimate Spider-Man, the way Bendis did, they call it the long form. That became like, oh, it's the long form storytelling, whatever. And so I think it took like 6 issues or something like that to get Peter Parker in the actual Spider-Man suit. So as I'm working on this book, I'm thinking, yeah, this is kind of compelling. It's like that. Remember that TV show called 48 Hours, where it was like 48 episodes and it was an hour each episode kind of thing. So it was all real time. So I thought like it's a fun creative experiment. It's a pretty cool idea. So it kind of seemed like that's what Bendis was doing with the Spider-Man stuff. It wasn't necessarily hour to hour, but it seemed like it was kind of following these logical progressions on how it would happen, almost as if it was real time. right? And he would tell it over a course of issues. And eventually you would get the big payoff. Peter Parker puts on what we know of as the Spider-Man suit, right? But that only works because everybody knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man. You can't do it any other way. In any other time, Bendis wouldn't have been able to do that. He just wouldn't have, because the conventional wisdom would have been, you got to get these characters going instantly. Otherwise, you're going to lose the audience. You're not going to sell issue 2. You're not going to sell issue 3. You're not going to be able to do that. So I was thinking, like, the only reason, like, Bendis was definitely a product of his time. He was only able to do the long form, not because Marvel was like, we'll let you or whatever. I mean, that's part of it. But most of it was that if he was creating a character out of whole cloth, he wouldn't have been able to do it that way.
No.
And if he did,
to the point,
it would have flopped. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think that's conjecture or my take on it. I think that that's actual fact, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't 48 hours. It was 24. 48 hours was that, what was it, like a news show or something, right?
Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, I think, wasn't they?
But wasn't there? Yeah, there was 48 hours. Yeah, we ain't brothers and we ain't friends. I remember that line. And then Nick Nolte punched Eddie Murphy in the face. But yeah, it was 24 hours, and that was what's that guy's name?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. And then I think Peter Tomasi is probably number one. Yes, because Peter Tomasi understands that stuff, man. I mean, that guy understands how to tell a contemporary story with all the understanding of the past, right? I think he's really good, and I think Jeff Johns was really a breath of fresh air at the time as well, because the thing that Jeff did was he wasn't a contemptuous writer, where a lot of those writers are like, I'm going to change this and this and this, and it'll become my version of Superman or Batman or Captain America or whatever. Johns was like, he would figure out what essentially is the character, and he would keep that intact, and then he would add something unique to it. You know what I mean? But it was like his Green Lantern, you know, that was Hal Jordan, you know, when he brought Lantern back. I mean, that was still Hal Jordan. He didn't change it. It still had the same rules, but it felt contemporary. It felt modern, you know. And I think that's a gift.
One of my favorite pieces of characterization that he did in his lines was when they brought back not Hal Jordan, but Barry Allen Flash. You know, we had Wally West for 20 years as the Flash, and now all of a sudden this guy Barry Allen is back, and a lot of readers weren't familiar with this version of the Flash. And his monologue was interesting. He's like because we don't have thought balloons anymore. We have captions, and Barry Allen was describing when he first met Green Lantern Hal Jordan. He says, when I first met Hal, I did not like him. I thought he looked at Wonder Woman a little bit too long, you know, and stuff, and he was just way too cocky. But then one day he referred to one of our villains as a perp, and I realized that he was a cop. And then I related to him because, of course, Barry Allen is a police scientist. And I thought that was just, you talk about, tell me he's a police scientist without telling me he's a police scientist, right? That was such a great little piece
that's the great writing, right? And also it connects the characters, you know, and how they relate to each other and things like that. And let's face it, characters that get along sometimes are a little boring, you know, so a little bit of tension, but almost like G-rated tension. You know what I mean? Like that isn't really like going to affect the team or anything like that. It was just an observation that, you know, one person had, you know, about the other person, and that's completely normal. Everybody does it. But they were superheroes. I love stuff like that. You know, I really do, because also it doesn't feel like somebody trying too hard. It doesn't seem like somebody's trying to be too witty or whatever. It feels very organic. It feels real. And I do think the way you connect to an audience is keep it grounded. No matter how superheroic or weird or out there it is, keep it grounded somehow. I was really lucky that I had a few good conversations with Jack Kirby, and Jack, he said, always keep it real.
Yeah.
He said, it doesn't matter if it's a Fantastic Four, galaxy, saving, with Galactus and all that other stuff. He said, somehow you have to find the humanity in it. You have to find, what's real in it. And I do think, just tying it back to AI and those things, I think that's where AI is going to have a problem.
Right.
It's just connecting on a human level. You know what I mean? Because how can it? It's not human. You know what I mean? So everything that it would come up with, whole cloth, would be a simulation of a human interaction, which it still kind of is anyways. I mean, telling a story in front of a camera is all artificial anyway. But when it's done well, and it resonates and it connects, that's when it transcends just celluloid on a screen or whatever. It's magic. And so that's what you always strive for, and that's always the art that does well, is things that do connect on a human level, no matter how farcical it is, as long as there's some truth to it, it'll work. I agree with Tahilim 29. Definitely enjoy Jurgens. I think his artwork is good. I think, and he'll tell you it always depends on who's inking, right? And he's kind of a blank slate, and that's what he wants. But I think that he is an underrated writer because he's a comic historian. He manages to hit these beats time in and time out, and he's always consistent. So I do think that Dan Jurgens, he's a good writer, but I think he's also underrated.
Yeah, I think that Dan Jurgens, when I think about the character of Thor, modern, everybody talks about Walt Simonson's run. I mean, he was the gold standard, but the guy who came the closest to matching Walt Simonson's run was Dan Jurgens, especially when he created the Jake Olsen character and tried to give Thor back a mortal identity, only in a different way than Don Blake. That's what I remember him doing. And
also his run on Thor was it Johnny Romita Jr. that was
was doing the art. Yeah,
that was a good run. I think it got canceled premature. And that's when I first really had that, like, Dan Jurgens, where I stood up for him. I was like, this was a good series. It didn't really deserve to get canceled. I guess if the sales aren't good, but the series was good.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was such an interesting dynamic there where you had, because basically Walt Simonson, when he came in, he got rid of not only Don Blake, but all of the supporting cast of Thor. There was no more Jane Foster, his nurse, that kind of thing. And when Dan comes in, he goes, okay, not only am I bringing back Jane Foster, but she's a doctor now, and Jake Olsen is a paramedic. So Thor, in the guise of Jake Olsen, is now essentially a subordinate to Jane Foster, a total reversal of what it was back in the classic days.
Yeah,
and he played with that, and that was really something.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good writing to find the tension and the dynamic in it, and how characters would work out those differences. Right. I'm going to wrap it up, man. We managed to find some really entertaining stuff to talk about. I do appreciate Todd and Darren's insight on some of this stuff. And I have a campaign. I have a little campaign that's going strong. And we had a wait. I hit the wrong doggone button. Boom, baby, share. Here we are. This is the new Indiegogo format, you guys. It still throws me back a little bit, but I'm getting used to it. So here, words are words, but images. Wait. All right, you guys, that's Black and White, Sins of the Father. This is volume 3, 30 years in the making. We are 37,330. We have 471 backers. We are close to 500 backers and 40K. So we need to get some more backers in here. We need to get this thing moving again. I know things are a little tight and there's a lot of competition out there, but I guarantee you this book is going to be entertaining, and it's going to knock your socks off. So I have over 40 years in this business, you guys, working on X-Men, Superman, Batman, you name it. I probably have worked on it. So I got 40 years of knowledge that's going into making this book. So this is Sins of the Father. Reed Blackett. What's that?
Can I test your knowledge?
On what?
Your knowledge.
Just my comic book making knowledge?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
No, maybe more up your alley than comic books.
All right.
What came out yesterday in 1978, 48 years ago on NBC?
Time Masters? I don't know.
Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Oh, that's not comic book related. Oh.
Was that on? Well, there was a Kiss comic, but was that on ABC or NBC? Because I thought it was on ABC.
I think it was NBC.
But I'll tell you a quick story about that. I lived in LA. It was filmed at a local amusement park called Magic Mountain, and so they were giving away tickets for that concert.
Yeah.
And so my friend, you could call in the radio station and win the tickets, right? So my friend got a pair of tickets, and so he was with another friend, and so you don't want to ace out the friend that's with you. So the second he tried it again, he won another pair of tickets, and guess who he didn't bring with him?
Oh no!
Yeah, he didn't bring me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It
That's
was
horrible,
NBC,
right?
by the way. I checked it.
All right, you proved him wrong. Are you happy now?
No. I proved him right. It was NBC. And that's
Well,
what
are
he
you
said, so,
happy
yeah.
now, Todd, that you proved Darren wrong?
No.
Yes.
I just.
No.
Can I
See, I
talk
don't-
about
I
my?
don't-
Hey, Todd, can I talk about my book now?
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
God, I listened to you for 2 hours just babble on about nonsense,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to make
Right.
some money here and get some cool books into some cool people's hands, and you're spoiling it. Jeez.
Well, let me say this about your book, because
Okay.
you said something earlier, and I never got to say what I wanted to say. It was about artists, and he was talking about Ron Lim and different people who are good artists, like Tom Grummett and those guys, but they never get that time to spend and be flashy. You're spending. This is like passion. You're spending hours on each page, days on each page. So it has a certain quality and look to it. As if, I think you remember when John Buscema was given the time to do something like those black and whites for like Conan and stuff like that. They were fantastic. It was almost like a different artist.
Yeah.
Versus the John Buscema who would do 2 issues of like Avengers and Captain America. It's sort of a different guy, and you're putting a lot into black and white. So everyone should get out there and get it.
Thank you. I take back everything I said about you. Before you came on the show, Darren was just blasting you, saying all kinds of horrible things. So now don't you feel really bad, Darren?
Oh, terrible. Yes. I want to say that I can see the 40 plus years of experience in the artwork with Sins of the Father.
Well, thank you. All right, you guys. Check is in the mail. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of Reed Blackett, aka Black's backstory, his MI10 spy days, the mysterious disappearance of his father, why he left the MI10, kind of how all that led up to the black and white form of justice. And so like the cover suggests, there's going to be a lot of robot battles, a lot of cool robot devastation, but also
Juju.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some supernatural stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna get into she's kind of a technomancer, so she can raise the dead through voodoo spells, but she also uses technology to enhance it. So if like normally she could raise maybe one at a time, with this enhancement, she can raise a whole cemetery at one time. So she's quite a foe, and there's going to be some soul searching, literally, and some soul grabbing in this storyline. So it's gonna have like supernatural, sci-fi, all kinds of cool stuff. Everything that makes comic books fun. It's a thriller. It's a spy drama. It's a love story. It's a bunch of stuff, you guys. It's a labor of love, like Todd was saying. Every one of these pages has hours and hours. And I do remember my dear friend Dick Giordano at DC Comics, and he told me when I was having a problem with making deadlines, he goes, I'll tell you, son, he said, there's jobs you do for love and there's jobs you do for money. And he said, the reason you're having a problem right now is because you're not taking the money. So he told me, this is just a monthly book. Take the money and run. And there will be projects that are worth your while to put your time and energy in, but this just isn't one of them. And I was a newbie, so I was like, I'm gonna bust my hump on everything. Every opportunity I get, I'm gonna destroy. I'm gonna not destroy literally, but I'm gonna kill it, do a good job, and make everybody proud so I can get more work. But he was right. How you survive the industry is there's jobs that you do. It's like a paycheck job, but black and white is one of those opportunities that you guys, all the backers, have given to me, and I'm running with it, because this could quite honestly be my swan song. Not trying to get macabre here, but I am getting older. So we got all kinds of variant artwork. We got Carlo Barberi, who's my brother from a Mexican mother. I love Carlo, and I love his work. And man, he nailed it in this illustration. So we got to work together again, which was fantastic. We got this image as a T-shirt, and we got the Juju image as a T-shirt. Those were just added to the campaign. So you guys, there's something for everybody. The campaign is back. I know there were some problems, and I apologize. With the way the Indiegogo just shut down. They didn't really give anybody any previous notice or anything like that. So I do apologize for that. We're going to put an update in tomorrow. So we'll give everybody a little bit more detail on what's going on with Black and White. And also, you guys, High Octane 2, there's 2 books in this campaign. So this is our buddy Pedro Ang writing, penciling, inking, and doing the color work. And he is killing it on this book. And it is pretty much done. We have some edits, but it's pretty much done. So, yes, thanks you to everybody that's backed this book. Thanks to everybody that supported this book. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Darren, for all the kind words. And we're just going to keep on making some killer artwork for you guys. And here's a page. No AI, you guys. So here's the page that I'm working on right now. I should have it done by Friday. So a lot of killer stuff happening.
Yeah.
You can kind of see some pencils. I'm using Lightbox, so you can see kind of how some of the pencils are there. Like her face isn't quite penciled in yet. It's kind of sketched in, but the face is on the other side. And you guys also, we have Darren. Darren has a new campaign.
Well, it hasn't started yet. Right now, I'm trying to get the sign up going between MailChimp and Fund My Comic, and it's kicking my patootie. But so we can play the trailer for you, and I know that Randy's been putting the link out. If you guys want to, or in the audience, want to save that link in your browser, and I should hopefully be getting signups for it. If you signed up for the Indiegogo version of this campaign from earlier in the year, I still have those addresses, so you're already signed up. You don't have to feel the need to sign up for this one. But yeah, I'm gonna. If you want, I can go ahead and play the trailer.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. All right.
I don't see it there.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. There we go.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
Dio!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
She says, "Uh-oh."
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
He's looking at me.
The guy is
What
on
is he?
foot.
I don't know what... It's a big, real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
What are you getting at, lady?
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big. He is big.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a great trailer, man. That's a great trailer. He's big.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so weird. Like my sense of camp is so it's so innate. I really expected it. Like when you see Demi-Foot, you're almost like disappointed because there's so much big in the like setup. It's like he's really big.
Yeah.
He's really big. So then you kind of expect like big guy or something like that. Bigfoot. Yeah. It's really good. And my favorite thing in there is like she goes, "Oh my."
Yeah, I know. Well, you have that's telephony. That's what that's called. That's dispatchers and people that work in phone-based jobs like tech support. They are trained to react a certain way that's dramatic but not overly dramatic. You know what I mean? And because they want to keep everything civil and calm. It's so yeah. There was some great telephony.
I would think
going
you
on
probably don't want to react like that at all, though. Really, right?
Well, they want to convey the sense of that the sense of urgency that the caller is having, but at the same time try to keep them calm and
so it validates them, like I hear you,
yeah.
kind of thing. But
yeah,
I don't know. The thing is, like you don't want somebody agreeing with you too much. Like that thing's gonna kill me, and then somebody goes, "Yeah, that thing's gonna kill you."
Yeah, you're dead. Sorry.
You're dead.
Call
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like,
There's nothing you can do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you guys got that to look forward to. And Todd, what do you have, man? You always have these killer trading cards. I know you have a website. Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that! I recognize that character.
Yeah, this is the first time I drew anything from this IP. I've never done. Well, no, I did a Skeletor head somewhere along the way, but
remember, you guys, this thing is like that figure is maybe 3 inches tall at best.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Sketch card, colored sketch card. Man.
There you go.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it.
That was killed. That's all you need. That's all you need. So you guys, Todd's store, super kick-ass superhero trading cards, and then Todd has got his Instagram. Go subscribe. I do believe, Darren, you have a YouTube channel, right?
I do have a YouTube channel. It's mostly Star Trek content right now, but I am trying to get into more comic book stuff, obviously. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Navy submarine veteran, so what I'm doing on my channel, most of my videos deal with showing you where a lot of the things in Star Trek came from. The nautical and naval roots of Star Trek. What is a hull registration number? Why is it called the bridge? Why is it called sick bay? That kind of stuff. So and there's a lot of great content there that I've made over the last couple of years, and so go ahead and subscribe to that. And
all right, I found out on a live stream with Graham Nolan some nautical terms. Okay, starboard and port. Starboard is like they used to have the steering on one side of the ship, so that would be the starboard side. They don't do it anymore. I mean, it's right in the center of the keel or whatever it's called. And then the port side was where the port. So ships usually, or in the past, would always come in on the same side to the ports. I don't think they do that anymore, but it's stuck, port side and starboard. What I want to know is poop deck.
We didn't have a poop deck on a submarine. We didn't have a poop deck on a submarine.
I'm not talking about just a submarine. I mean, just a nautical term.
Right. Well, I'll tell you that there's I went to Navy basic training like every other sailor, but then I went to basic submarine basic training, which you spend most of your time unlearning all the stuff you learned in Navy basic because it doesn't apply to submarines. So there's a lot of terms for surface ships that I'm not familiar with, but poop deck I would imagine would have something to do with with excrement. Yeah, I would assume that that's it. I mean, we had on the submarine we have a sand tank where all of our human sewage goes, and then we had to blow it out in the ocean with 700-pound air.
How many of those guys, like on those Navy like destroyers or flat tops or whatever, were just whizzing over the side of the ship? They probably didn't use the bathroom at all. They probably just like peed off the side of the.
Especially when it was an all male service, yeah. I mean, it's just
they're just letting it fly, right? They're just
It's just like pulling over on the side of the road and taking a leak in the ditch. Guys will do that. Especially when they're on a fishing trip with other guys. But yeah.
Look at Todd. Look at Todd pretending to be interested. We're just boring. Every pontificators, we end up just boring the shit out of Todd.
Well, I got to tell you, here's what I know a little bit about peeing over the side of a ship.
It can come back on you?
No. Yeah. You got to hold on to something.
You hold on to your penis.
In choppy water, you don't want to be just,
Although you can get by that by having a nice big spread on your legs, like having your feet at least shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit more. That'll give you more stability. And
also, how many hands do you need to hold that damn thing, Todd? How big are you?
Yeah.
You need 2 hands. Todd's a 2-hander.
Well, one thing I will tell you though, that a lot of ships are so tall that if you take a leak off the deck, it's going to turn into rain or like a sprinkle as it falls, just like a waterfall. It doesn't stay one steady stream all the way down. So
and it probably, depending on the way the wind blows, it'll just splash back on you, right?
Yeah, it could. If somebody is below you and has a window open, or a porthole open or whatever, you could get pee in
Have
there.
you
So,
ever
know,
done that when you're driving and your friend's in the back seat and you got a hock-a-loog and you're in the driver's or a passenger and you just and then it comes back
Nope.
through the other window?
No, but that happened on a bus. That happened on a bus when I was a kid, where some kid hocked a loogie out the window and it flew out, and then there was an open window down, a few seats down, and it hit a teacher right in the face with the loogie, and yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So,
What is that saying? You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger. You don't spit in the wind.
Yep,
You don't
yep,
pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Todd.
Jim.
Jim.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, this has been a great time. Thanks to everybody for hanging with us. Pontificators is a weekly show. Todd and I created years ago, along with Chester Busby III. We miss you, Chester. You got to come back in, just for old time's sake. And we're glad to have Darren now in as the newbie. And we'll see you again.
Did you get rid of Clint yet, or no?
You weren't supposed to say that out loud. God, we're still live, man. It's a process. You don't just get rid of Clint. You gotta. It's a process. It's a series of events that have to take place.
There's a lot of people buried out there in Nevada, so just saying.
He's in Nevada.
He happens to go there quite a bit.
Oh,
actually, he does.
And I know a guy.
Yeah.
I got a couple guys in Nevada.
Yeah, and he likes to drink a lot. So
He
he's
likes to
probably
leave
making
those-
a series of like bad judgment calls.
I wonder
likes
if
to leave.
Do you know how there are some people who drink a lot and then you can like smell it coming out of their skin?
Yeah.
I wonder if Clint's like that. You can smell the vodka coming. Like,
Yeah. You'd
He
have
lives
to
in
have to drink a lot and not shower a lot, right?
Yeah,
No,
he lives
I
in
think
northern Minnesota. They drink to keep warm up there, and I'm sure he likes to go to Nevada in the dead of the winter when it's 20 below.
And it's
in
like
Minnesota.
it's summertime for him.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we will see you guys next week. Support everything that the Pontificators 2 create. And make sure you back Black and White. Do it now. Do it tonight. We'll see you next